Good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. Ethereum just hit 3,700, 3,800. The sacrifice wallet's in profit, and this is a very special day, very special price for PulseChain holders specifically. I've got Money Getting Crypto on. Good old friend of mine. Why don't you tell them why Ethereum at 3,800 is such a big deal for us?
It's a big deal because I think, well, it's breaking out number one against Bitcoin. That's probably the most important thing. It's a real sign that there is strength, because I think one of the biggest narratives this cycle has been like Solana's going to take over versus Ethereum, and Ethereum's ratio was getting skewed up. Everyone was going, oh, it's a Bitcoin only cycle, all of the stuff that usually happens in a typical cycle. And it's beautiful to see. Then obviously, Treasury wallet is up. Richard Hart's position, he doesn't look as much of a fool to his haters and critics and stuff. And I think also, when you look at the Ethereum liquidity, it's very minimal. Like, it's very, very minimal as it goes up. Like, when you see how quickly this price can move, it's exceptional. And then you look at the narrative is shifting and changing, and all the money's really parked on Ethereum. All the boomers are getting excited by stable coins, and How do you feel about it, Coffee?
I'm fucking relieved. I really am. It just feels like this time it's for real. Last time I think the sacrifice wallet was in profit for maybe a week, and then we just dumped right back down. We weren't ready yet. And this time is different. The cycle is elongated, in my opinion, until proven otherwise, because we're on institutional money this cycle that we've never had. So we've never had mainstream finance getting into Ethereum. They got into Bitcoin first. They got into Ethereum next, and they're having all kinds of ETFs, staking ETFs, treasury companies are buying it. But it does make logical sense to have an elongated cycle, right? Like, why should there be an even 4 years every single time just because of the Bitcoin happening? And now that, you would think as it becomes more mainstream, it also elongates the bubbles as well as diminishing in amplitude. So, yeah, I'm just enjoying it. Feels like we're back. Feels like the dawn of an epic alt season. And hey, maybe it just took an extra year and 3 months to play out. That's why you do delayed gratification, patience.
Yeah, when you look at it in the longer term, and you look at kind of how Ethereum performed or Bitcoin performed, right? Like on a graph, it doesn't really give you the ups and downs and the feelings that you have to go through in that moment as well. And I think, a lot of people are suddenly realizing kind of how genius the play was to go into Ethereum, with SAC funds and stuff, because now you're hearing like big gaming companies going to buy up $5 billion worth. I had said for months that BlackRock had been accumulating and buying Ethereum. We saw that Trump had basically launched a coin on Solana, cheated it, and then bought Ethereum. So it's funny to me because now it's starting to really play itself out, and I think people don't realize like how high Ethereum can go, in the sense that if it goes anywhere close to its all-time high in terms of ratio against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin goes up to say 200k, it's going to get real nice. I mean, you're going to be looking at like 15k Ethereum, and even 8k Ethereum would be great. And to a lot of people, like, these numbers are like moon math numbers or anything like that, but it's just basing it off a ratio. And you look at where Bitcoin's gone, and I still do think that it will rise up. I think that we're going into a bullish season, probably going to get some rate cuts coming up. And then also, I just the stablecoin act that came out recently and all this kind of stuff, it's just
so much. It's like there's so much we could say, and me and you and most of the PulseChain content creators, we've been saying this stuff on repeat, but it's really just vindicating to see it playing out. And for the new people watching, to think that Ethereum is not the digital oil, like you're making a critical mistake. The Bitcoin only people always make me laugh, because it's like, it was never going to be Bitcoin only. Like, you really think there's one single winner take all here, when Ethereum is the coin that does all the stuff? Like, you're building the parallel economy on Ethereum. Like you said, stable coins. What do stable coins run on? They run on Ethereum as the substrate. And if all these governments are trying to save their dollar and expand their dominance, that fact alone is that they're launching all these stable coins on the Ethereum network. That should be enough. But then, like you said, we've got rate cuts, we've got treasury companies, SharpLink Gaming. So I'm excited. I think everyone's pretty excited.
And even to your point a little bit earlier, you were saying that this is a Sunday, right? So to give context, Saturday and Sunday is usually the quietest days when it comes to like the markets in terms of crypto, because you don't have institution, particularly ETF money coming in. You don't have the FOMO of that happening. So I always see Sunday I'm such a DJ and I love going and doing a bit of leverage. Sorry, Richard, but I love doing. And my experience has been every time, like Sunday, particularly into Sunday evening, you get to understand where the week is probably going to go. Like it's not guaranteed, but it seems to be. Every single time I've put on longs on Ethereum on a Sunday, and it's starting to pump, it really starts to run. Like really starts to run. Now, who knows? Maybe gets cheated down. I don't know. But in my personal opinion, this is a really nice move, possibly setting up a good week.
Right. I mean, crypto trades 24/7 on decentralized exchanges, which that's also a metric that's going up. Decentralized exchange trading is now 1/4 of all trading. People are ditching centralized exchanges at a very fast rate. But when you know that weekends typically have lower volume, lower volatility, and like you said, they're kind of a prequel to what's going to happen in the week. Imagine when the normies wake up and they check their Robinhood app on Monday after getting drunk all weekend and going back to their 9 to 5. Retail is going to really start to notice, on Monday during the week. We've got the Herc with a ZAR tip. I don't even know what that is, but $99.99 worth of ZAR. Is very appreciated, sir. The long wait is almost over. Thank you. Thank you for that.
South African rand.
Oh, so it's like 2 cents or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think anyone's talking about staking ETF coming out. Probably.
BlackRock, right? BlackRock just announced that they're going to convert their existing ETF to be able to generate yield. You can also generate yield on PulseChain, right? You can buy these liquid staking derivatives. And I'm actually invested in UPLS over on PulseChain, which is earning 13% APY because they build more blocks than a solo validator would. You can also go to vouch.run. I know I'm going on a tangent here, but for people that are interested in holding PulseChain, just like Ethereum, you can buy a staked derivative token and you can kind of sit in that. Of course, it all is one extra layer of counterparty risk or smart contract risk, but that's been paying out nicely as well and really helping with the holding mentality.
Yeah. I'm loving. I'm doing well on PTGC, and shout out to those guys as well.
Well, there's a reason I tied the top hat Memecoin to PTGC, and we burned that liquidity because I'm also bullish on that ecosystem. We've seen, I mean, that was the top performer out of most any meme coins, except, I mean, unless you really bought PDI like super early, which hardly anyone did. And yeah, I'm bullish on that ecosystem. They don't seem to be giving up, and I like that they're bonded to the core coins because it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and we do have, I'll speak about PDI as well. It's not my favorite, but like good on them and what's happening, DSM and all that stuff.
I'll say that I'm happy that the extraction is done for now, but I think that I just personally cannot pretend to believe these stories when I know otherwise. However, as long as it keeps money on the chain, you guys have fun. Now, you do have this weird character that seems to dump millions of dollars worth of coins every now and then. So not for me, but if you guys want to keep telling yourself stories, go ahead. Fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's going in the right direction. I kind of said this a couple times, but I was like, bro, like if everyone talks about like, when's Richard Hart coming back into PulseChain? When is he going to go to? You have like limited time and resources to advertise if you're a businessman, right? Like your product or your service, right? And in my personal opinion, I would never think that he would start doing any form of like marketing or advertisement until things are in profit, right? Like in terms of maybe his treasury bag and also legal stuff gets out of the way. And I think that we're seeing that there is stuff in the background, and I think a lot of people don't like the fact that there isn't too much communication. It's just solely through Twitter. But hey, let's let the cycle play out. Let's see Ethereum move towards that 8K mark. Let's see things get more frothy, and then start going on a marketing rampage. Like, and then who knows what may happen to the price when you're doing a marketing rampage and all of that fun stuff.
Which I can confirm, the marketing, well, one particular marketing campaign is well underway. I would look to see that kind of launch in a month or two. Not much more I could say other than I think the world will be pleasantly surprised, shocked, triggered. That's what we do over here in PulseChain. We focus on the marketing. We like to trigger people. We're the most hated and loved and, polarizing coin because everyone's heard of us, but they don't want to like it. They want Richard Hart to be a scammer. And yeah, he's not coming back for the past year or two. He hasn't really been very active on videos, but I saw an interesting tweet from Tangent the other day. Maybe it was today. He says that, they were talking about who's your favorite influencer in the PulseChain ecosystem, and almost nobody's even said Richard Hart anymore. Meaning he's been gone for so long that it's almost a joke to even pretend that he would come back. And does he need to? Well, I mean, he could simply just continue to act behind the scenes like he's been doing. But I still believe that he will come back for that glory. And he's probably thinking the risk reward right now of risking, getting in more trouble when you still got an Interpol case versus the fact that we're still, people have been dumping the last 2 years. What difference would it make to put himself at risk for all these Jeets rather than just shake them out? He talks about shaking people out all the time.
Yeah. No. Like the shakeout's been brutal, but it all depends. To me, it just was like, well, I kind of saw some sort of correlation between Ethereum and Pulse. Not necessarily like liquidity bonded, but certainly whether it's speculation, whether it's like direct route and access via the bridge was kind of a singular network for a decent amount of money. But I kind of always thought there is really just it's one way, and it is kind of reliant on whether it's just for speculation and people going, oh wow, this is how much could be injected into the ecosystem, that Ethereum had to perform. Like I was pretty adamant on it. I was like, Ethereum has to move and has to really take off, and people need to kind of believe into that, and then they'll see what Pulse can do. And that was always my kind of theory when it came to PulseChain.
It doesn't take that much money. People don't realize how illiquid this chain is. We have 10 times lower liquidity than we had a year and a half ago. And we still pump 7x on minimal liquidity injections, which I think, maybe $7-10 million from the sacrifice wallet was seen. And then a lot of people FOMO by the tops. A Veblen good is a product where when the price goes up, the demand also goes up. And it's the opposite of normal economics, right? Normally you're like, oh, cheaper prices, more demand. With crypto, people like to buy into these green candles. It's just psychology. It's clockwork. I mean, that's how. The one thing that's predictable is that humans are emotional and flawed, and it's hard to do the thing that that no one else wants to do, right?
Yeah, like people, it's 95% emotion and about 5% logic. That's if I've been in markets, the last four or 5 years, and then in the stock market before that, and it really is. I just see it and I go, man, this is so emotionally driven. And you can tell just by there's lots of fake narratives that get made up, and there's lots of like people get kind of desperate really, and it's like, well, okay, I mean, you're just being emotional. And this was the thing. I was having so many arguments with people because I liked what Solana was doing, but I was having arguments with people going, the EVM's better.
It just is.
It is. Like, there's more money, there's more things to do. Like, Solana is literally a casino, and that's the benefit. It does a lot of like tickers, and there's a lot of volume and stuff like that. And there's been some great apps that have been developed this cycle, but I never thought it could surpass Ethereum.
Look around at the people that have really won in crypto, and of course everybody likes to put the one or two casino winners on a pedestal from whoever won and pumped out fun. But if you look at the people that made the majority of the money over the past 10 years, let's say, it's just people that bought and held in long-term assets, and you can focus on the lottery ticket winner, but if that's the kind of hero you're worshiping, right? It's like a lot of lottery ticket winners go broke shortly afterwards because it was a fluke, and like you're not mentally or if your identity isn't prepared to make millions of dollars off of like N-word coin, then like you're just going to end up right back at square one. You're going to think, maybe you think you're a genius, you go try it again, and if you're just going in blind, if you're not part of the insider cabal, like you're the one being played and you're the exit liquidity. And it's almost, I almost say it's like bad luck for a newbie to get lucky the first time, because then they just think that they're smart.
I had an argument with like Ivan on Tech, little Twitter back and forth, right? And he was going on about Fartcoin, right? And bro, I asked him like, what market cap did you get in at, right? Because it is like the hottest coin, or was the hottest coin on Solana. And I'm like you're saying this, but I follow all of the KOLs, the top traders on Solana. I have a bot that tells me exactly what they're buying immediately. I watch all of them. I watch them literally go through thousands of tickers a day, like, to give context. And I'm like, these guys lose many times. They're also, have a following, so people buy off of their kind of plays. But I'm like, most of the guys are getting cheated on. Most of the guys are losing money,
Yeah.
and it is and I was just naming name after name after name after name. And Ivan didn't respond because I just put it on him a little bit, and he was like comparing PulseChain to firstly to Solana, but to Fartcoin as well, which is funny because I have an Axiom account, and Axiom is quite a popular kind of similar to BullX, and it's like the hottest coin with the most amount of talk and the most amount of volume was like Fartcoin at the time, and I'm like, yo, you're shilling me the coin that is 2x away from its all-time high, right? All the gains are pretty much done, and it's the hottest one, and it's like giving me top signal vibes. I'm like, all the KOLs are talking about it, like big guys in the space. So I'm like,
hot air rises, though. Have you ever considered that?
True.
No, I mean, it's one of those hated rallies because it's like, oh, how is something so stupid pumping so hard? And sometimes the most hated coins do pump, right? It's the reason PDI might see higher prices. It's like stupidity is endless. So
it's been nice to trade, though. It's been nice for unit accumulation. I will say that.
Okay. What else have you been doing? What's the alpha from Money Gang Crypto? How you making money? How you surviving?
Oh man, just on the streets selling noodles, bro.
Selling your body?
Yeah, that's it. Selling my body. No, I mean, I did pretty well in the bear market when it came to PulseChain. Like, I know that a lot of people didn't do well on the cause, but I was still playing the plays that were about. And I even did well on some Solana tickers. Done well. I called a Ethereum play recently that did incredible, which is Manua. And I'm more of a trader, I guess, more of a degen. But then I'm always thinking about unit accumulation. So I'm always in the kind of meme coins to make more units, looking at the ratios and trying to do it like that. And I got a good group of guys who I'm friends with who are pretty good traders.
And you mean units of the L1?
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
So that's huge alpha. I mean, for newbies that don't understand, like, the game of meme coins is typically to accumulate the base layer token. Ethereum on ETH, or ETH on Ethereum, PLS on PulseChain. Maybe you've got some other long-term beliefs, but that takes an understanding that meme coins are temporary and you can play the game. You just got a lot more losers than winners. That's all I'll say.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, that's how I play it. Some people have different opinions and they put more trust in certain coins. I call them, like, there are like tier 1 meme coins that will take off and become like massive market cap, or already have. I think Pepe's established itself, like Shiba Inu as well. Doge is going up today quite a bit as well, I believe. There are those, but then there's kind of lower market caps that are kind of more shitters that you're getting in and out of, and you're kind of playing the game like that. And I say to people, like, if you're going to trade, right, you have a separate kind of trading bag, and you don't make that like 100% your bag, because people just seem to just do that. They just go, right, I'm going to put 100% into this and end up losing money. Whereas, like, I see it as more of a degen bag because I'm in the markets all the time. A lot of guys don't want to be in the markets all the time. Don't be in the markets all the time. It's not going to work for you. If you're like a very much a kind of dopamine addict and you're kind of a little bit intense and stuff like that, and you like watching what's going on and following what's going on, it's not for everyone, but that's my style. Whereas for most people, it's better just to touch grass and just chill, go on a 10-year basis, not on a 1 year, 2 year basis,
Right. I mean, it just depends on the individual. How much time do you want to commit? It can, crypto has the ability to take a large part of your life away, and for better or worse. I hope people learn and iterate and don't just make the same mistakes over and over. I try to tell people what I did back in the day, 2015, 2016, 17. I bought a bunch of shit coins and vaporware, and I rode it all the way up and all the way back down. And, from a high 6 figures to a low 5 figures, and I've done that multiple times now in crypto. So it's really just about staying in whatever's long-term. And then I guess you can use memes or whatever as short-term boosters. We're entering this new phase, it feels like, with Ethereum pumping. Any hope for utility season?
Yeah. I think DeFi was like definitely the narrative coming into 2020, 2021. And I think also with kind of so I think about where the money is, and the money is with kind of the older generation. And I think the ETFs have given a taste of kind of, I'm in crypto now. I go through my financial institution and they kind of manage it for me and blah, blah, blah. And then I think going forward, it's going to be kind of more stablecoin yield that they're going to be focused on. I think there's a push for that. And so, yeah, I do think that the kind of DeFi projects will do very, very well. And I think it goes for a certain type of audience, because not every person necessarily wants to buy Bitcoin. Not every person wants to buy Ethereum or Sol or Sui or Pulse or whatever. But they would be happy to park their money in the US dollar and make yield off of it. So I think there will be a lot of that. And then what happens is kind of like a gateway drug, right? Like you start with the stable coins and then you come on to, Farcoin.
Next thing you know, you're deep in the trenches.
Yeah, well, that's how it all starts, right? It's like, next thing you know, you're like a trench warrior. You're
trying to explain to your tax advisor that Farcoin is a solid investment.
yeah, exactly. But I do feel that because then, so I think about like the Ethereum guys as well. And a friend of mine says this. It's like, what if an ETH whale wants to chuck, 1 to 5%? They've been in Ethereum for ages and ages and ages, and they want to chuck 1 to 5% of their portfolio into some altcoins. What if they want to, rotate? There's going to be people like that, and they're going to look to put it into some chains. And if there's chains that are very easy to access from Ethereum, they'll probably give, hey, I'm going to chuck 5% here. I'm going to chuck a bit here. I think that will happen.
And it doesn't take much. It really does not take much for meme coins, especially, but the whole PulseChain ecosystem, $10 million would like over 10x the price from here.
Yeah,
it would be insane to see. I think in certain coins, like 10 million into not Pulse, but almost any other coin would really like 100x or more the token. $10 million for a whale is just a drop in the bucket. So I've been saying that on repeat, and I think that's the main thing that people just, some are going to have to see it to believe it. But this low liquidity environment, and we're near the all-time lows, and we even saw like a hex whale exit, 1.5, maybe $3 million at the lows, and we maintained the same price. It's like we're absorbing all the sell pressure at these terrible, I don't like the prices right now, but the fact that we're absorbing it, and you can calculate XYZ millions would send us, 100x from here. Some people are going to think, oh, we're just crying wolf, but like, just wait till it happens.
Yeah, no, I think we'll be vindicated. And shout out to Uber Hex, helicopter rides don't pay themselves. So,
yeah. What do you mean?
Well, I think I know who the individual is. I think it's quite clear. But anyway,
you do? Wait, actually, I do you want to talk about that, or should we leave identities out of it?
I'll keep the identity out of it. But yeah. So yeah, it was quite clear. You know, I'm a sleuth, right? Like I'm an on-chain sleuth. I've got pretty much everyone's freaking wallets tracked, and there was some very interesting patterns as to what they would do. Like, for example, they specifically like to trade with Pytheas, and then the other thing was they loved selling everything into wrap polls, bridging to Ethereum. And
I
then,
don't understand that part. Can you please explain? Like, is that just lack of understanding?
No, well, this individual had a very interesting video on how to come to PulseChain, and the way that they'd like to do it was to buy it off of Uniswap or CowSwap, I believe, buy wrap pulse and then bridge the wrap pulse across. And they made like multiple videos about that, and I think part of it was.
There was another thing. That's not a good way to do it. Like,
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a good way. But this individual just for some reason just really liked it. And the other thing as well, they use MetaMask swap a lot. And so before PulseChain actually started, there was, and I remember this because I was in the UK at the time, there was a ban on Uniswap for a period of time in the UK. So the best route was to just use MetaMask swap. So those three factors, like, and then some kind of correlation with certain tokens and tickers that were in the wallets and stuff, and just on-chain actions, we're pretty certain who is.
You mean to tell me it's not Richard Hart?
It is not Richard Hart.
So funny how everything that happens in crypto is someone's gonna blame it on Richard Hart, no matter what.
That's right.
Or like OKX, like some OKX got hacked, and someone was like, "It's Richard." It's like, you think he's out here hacking exchanges? Come on.
No. It just makes me funny because obviously, like, a lot of people like to say stuff, and then I'm like, okay, well, what is your evidence? Let's just see what you've got. Like, what makes you actually think that? Where's the link into? Because it is, the blockchain is basically an open source ledger, right? Like, you can kind of see where the transactions are going to a degree. Yeah, there's ways of obfuscating your transactions, but it can be quite easy to find out. And this individual, I mean, to be fair, had free claimed their hex during the with their Bitcoin, and then had staked it, had some liquid, had sold some, had bought a bit more with Ethereum.
So just an early investor.
Yeah. And then sacrificed a lot for Pulse and PulseX, so and the other thing that you have to factor in is like what's going on in life. Like, they're welcome to sell at any point, but depending on your age and your health, you never know what's going on behind the scenes. So I wasn't too worried, and like you said, we absorbed the sell pressure pretty damn well. I thought, hey, it should send it to all-time lows, but it didn't.
Yeah, I made a couple grand off the fees alone on 9inch, and your favorite alternative exchange app.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Hexy back, man.
It'd be nice to see him again. Yeah.
No, he's all right actually. He's touching grass, man. Like, I'll be honest with you, he's enjoying life, and he's doing well. I think he wants to come back, and I think if you're interested in him as a person, if you don't completely hate his guts, send him a message. Honestly, send him a message, DM him, because it's nice to have him back, and he's a good guy, and I think he wants best for the community. So DM him if you're in the audience. Do it and say MGC told you to do it, and coffee.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's a good entertainer, and he built a V3 platform, right? So he built an actual thing that works. It might have a ridiculous name, 9inch.io. Yeah. But I use it. It works for V3 liquidity, and it's a Memecoin DEX.
That's right, and it's got good liquidity. I mean, no one talks about that. I know maybe the price performance hasn't done as well as it should. It's had runs at points, but yeah, there's a lot of liquidity there. Which is pretty.
Yeah, decent. It's in the millions, and the important thing is that it's like stablecoin liquidity and PLS liquidity, not just like I made a meme coin and I tied it to another meme coin and I traded it for $1, so now I have all. You can make up the liquidity metric, but core layer ones and stablecoin liquidity means more than shitcoin to shitcoin pair.
Dude, the best one I had, there was a guy, and I actually, I'll shout out Tiger Crypto, because this guy, I'd posted something about Ethereum, right? And this guy decided to kind of hate on it, and he was just getting all funny about PulseChain or whatever. And he was advertising his coin, and actually Tiger Crypto came in and commented just below that comment, that hate comment, and was like, "Bro, you're complaining all the time, like grow up, this and the other." So long story short, I checked out his coin that he had launched, not Tiger Crypto, but the guy who was hating. And this guy had decided, like, he was trying to obfuscate. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's the 200 billion market cap, and it's got this amount of liquidity." When I looked at the liquidity, what he'd done is he'd bought some PUSDC, and then on the DEX tools, right, it recognizes USDC, but it doesn't recognize the copy.
I see.
So it looked like it had like hundreds of thousands of dollars of USDC liquidity, which is complete bollocks. It was like $100 of PUSDC, and I was like, man, you're a scumbag. You know, like you're promoting your coin that's got no volume, it's got no lick, and no one's bought it since December. And you know, you're calling Richard a scammer, but you're actually doing a scam. Like the liquidity that you put up was PUSDC. I can't believe you're even like putting that out there. And I'm like, I can find your wallets in 3 seconds.
yeah. The people usually with the worst things to say are projecting and trying to take the attention off of them and their own shortcomings, or trying to relieve themselves of responsibility. It's almost crazy, just in real life, not only crypto, how when people get obsessed with like accusing others of particular things, like you'll have a guy calling everybody pedophiles, and the next thing you know, it comes out, oh, he was the pedophile. You know what I mean? So it's like it's really just the oldest psychological kind of trick.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good point from HexDay407. You know, a lot of people are focusing on the Sacrifice wallet, which is great. It does own $500 million of ETH. But people don't remember that back in the day, the adoption amplifier raised, I would estimate, and there's no way to know for sure with the recycling and all that, but maybe 100,000 ETH. So there's maybe 100,000 more additional ETH that has been probably being held since, I don't know, ETH was in the hundreds of dollars range. All the way back then, ETH was like $80 at a certain point. So Richard or the Sacrifice wallet, whoever, the Nigerian priest, he's already up. People pretend like he's down, and it's like, but if he's been holding that Bitcoin from 2011, and if he's been holding that Ethereum from 2020, he's actually massively up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got these secret bags, which I like more, because I do think we need the element of surprise. I really don't like when people are able to front run. And that's another point as well. We saw the SAC wallet send some ETH to Tornado Cash, and I like that because the element of surprise is totally necessary. You don't just want people coming in just to buy right before the pump and sell right after the pump.
Have you used Tornado before? I love it.
I do. Yeah, I like it. Railway's good. Privacy pools is pretty good. It's good to use privacy stuff, dude. It's a human right, but it's also just like, again, that element of surprise. If you're a whale, you know, the bigger whale you are, the more sense it probably makes.
100%. And the thing is as well, like I had back and forth with a detractor, right? And a guy who was like, yeah, you know, Richard doesn't have any Bitcoin anymore, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, why would you have such a huge amount of the second biggest crypto asset and not have just as much in the number one crypto asset? And it was like, so you're telling me, okay, let's say you used up, you didn't buy the dip. Like you're so focused on price targets, like as an individual, which Richard is, you didn't buy the dip in like the last few cycles. You didn't trade that with your own, with your own personal stuff. So like, I do think that, I think Richard wants to be a whale in the biggest asset class, biggest crypto asset classes, you know, in biggest market cap cryptos, you know. So I don't think this guy's, I think he's a very good trader. I think he's pretty good at calling tops and bottoms sometimes. You know, I'm not the best trader, but certainly a pretty decent one. He's been in the market a long time. You're going to tell me he's never never traded he knows the 4-year cycle. He has an idea of probability of when the price is going to go down close to its low and probably close to its high. The individual never traded the chart and made back that Bitcoin or was able to purchase Bitcoin at a low.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
The best traders as well, they don't need to move often. If you make one good swing trade a year or even less, that's what I kind of think Richard, if in all likelihood, is probably doing. Just move a little bit over here in Bitcoin near the low, a little bit over there, but very few movements. I think he learned his lesson, leverage trading back in 2017. And other people like to speculate, oh, he lost it all, that's why he made hacks. It's like, I highly doubt that. He probably lost some money and was like a painful reminder of why leverage is so dangerous. But if you bought Bitcoin at 50 cents and again at $30 and you wrote it all the way down and you've literally been in every single cycle, I don't think you're the kind of guy that's blowing your whole stack on a leverage trade on BitMEX.
No, me too. I think certainly you lost. Yeah, you lost some, but again, it's not like, I mean, I'll give you an example. And my mom didn't even buy the bottom, but I told my mom to buy Ethereum, and she bought it at 1,800, and she's up like loads, So, and my mom's pretty basic. She doesn't really, like I told her, probably in a year or so, go buy some Ethereum, and she did it. So it's like this was kind of after 2022, I think, maybe around that time, 22, 23, I can't remember exactly. So, it's not too hard, especially once you get tabs on. There is a kind of cyclical effect of crypto. And so, you've been in it from the very beginning. You've seen the ups and downs. You can see the volatility. You've handled losses and gains. You're going to tell me that you never bought the bottom? You never made any trades at all? I don't believe it for a second.
Yep. I mean, look, it just took an extra year and 3 months. 4-year cycle was not so predictable this time, but it kind of feels like ETH is going to go to 4K maybe this week. And then obviously well beyond that. And we've just got, I think, a supply shock coming as well. You got Wintermute, which is out of OTC Ethereum. You've got institutions that just really want to buy it and that have been buying it. And I think you've seen the biggest net inflow day for the Ethereum ETFs with something like $700 million inflows in one day. There's clear demand for this. It's digital oil. It's a parallel financial economy. It's kind of the Trojan horse moment, because on one hand, you've got institutions wanting to expand their dollar dominance, but unknowingly, they're also just enabling people to learn more about actually detaching themselves from the monetary system and just starting to invest in assets that actually pump harder than inflation. So that's what I want to wake people up to, right? It's like, yeah, dollars are cool, stablecoins are cool, but it's the whole Neo Morpheus meme of like, you're telling me I could trade all my Hex for millions one day, and Morpheus says, no, Neo, I'm telling you, when you're ready, you won't have to. And that is coming. There's going to be the day in maybe 5 or 10 years where we're all transacting in crypto. We might not even realize it. We'll have wallets baked into our phone. All the conversions and the bridging and all the bullshit user experience, it's going to be handled like behind the scenes with sponsored transactions and abstracted wallets. And Ethereum is going to keep getting better. I mean, I just saw the Ethereum roadmap. Vitalik kind of released it. These are the best devs in crypto right now. They do have to move slowly, but what they've got planned in terms of privacy, scalability, proto-dank sharding, all these crazy words, it just means that the network's going to get easier to use. It's going to get faster, more private. It's going to be great. I wish other people could see that, but I'm also done, I think, with my IRL friends and trying to onboard them, because like whenever I seem to get them to buy Ethereum, they just can't hold it. They bitch and moan, and a couple friends of mine recently sold ETH. Like this was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was like, I could have just bought Bitcoin, and like I should have just done that. And it's like, okay, you can play that game with yourself all you want, bro. You just fucking sell. Like don't tell me or ask me how to sell, like, or pretend that it was like my fault that you can't hold long. And now I'm sure they're just eating their words today. So if you're watching, you guys were wrong. I was right.
I got a funny story about that, because my my sister I got a family group chat, and my sister was like, got a crypto.com account, and she's like, hey, I don't know how to sell this. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? This is on Thursday, right? Thursday last week. And I was like, what are you doing? And I got on the phone to her, and she's like, oh, it's like she got in late. Like she got pretty poor entry, even though I told her way before that to buy, like way before.
Of course.
And so she's like, oh, I don't like the volatility. It went down and now it's back up. And I'm like, yeah, but this is crypto, number one. And what did I tell you? Like I said, you cannot sell until we hit at least September of this year, at least September, And she's like, yeah, but it's just so volatile. And I'm like, listen, do not do anything. If you lose money by September of this year, I will pay the difference. So whatever money you lose, I will pay the difference for you. But you cannot sell until at least September of this year, going off the kind of traditional 4-year cycle, whatever. And yeah, she's eating her words now because flipping heck, she's gone. I think the price has gone from like 3K to 3.7, 3.8.
It's beautiful to see. It really is.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this week. I mean, I woke up today just not expecting ETH to be up 7% on a Sunday. It's really nice. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and its performance in the week as well was amazing. It was just like candle after candle, and you just look at it at the ratio versus BTC as well. It's like people don't really realize like how high it can get. The last cycle, it was just under 9%. It was 0.88. It was 0.088, and if it gets anywhere close to that, I mean. And I do think Bitcoin goes on to do 150, maybe 200, maybe even 240, some people say, right? If it gets anywhere close to that and it starts moving against that ratio, which it is, Ethereum could really, really shoot up. And we can really have a decent altcoin season.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Just keep holding. Just imagine it's 10K and it's just loading. It's just waiting to see it happen. Everybody knows. But people can't withstand the volatility in crypto. The price you pay for the gains is the extreme volatility, and no one knows what that means until they watch their portfolio drop 80%.
Oh yeah,
and they freak out, and it's like, nope, that's what happens. And then you buy more if you really do believe in it. I mean, if it's more than just a meme coin that's never coming back. If you've got the tech, community, founder, that trio, right? The perfect. Is it decentralized? Can it be shut off? Does the founder actually care about it? Does the community care enough to be here in 5-10 years? You've got all those things in PulseChain or Hex or PulseX, whatever you're into. And so, yeah, that's why I'm heavily positioned here.
And it's funny, like guys who came up in 21, it's changing teams or getting funny or like having like tirades on Twitter and stuff. And it's kind of ironic and it's kind of funny, but at the same time, I just know that they'll probably come crawling back at some point.
I often wonder how much of crypto Twitter is useful in terms of new people, right? Like PulseChain really does dominate on Twitter. Like that's the one thing we do well, in my opinion. I mean, we do many things well, but I wonder how many rich people or regular folks are just not on crypto Twitter. When they buy coins, they're not following crypto influencers. They're looking at cat videos, and they have a Robinhood app, and they're just, maybe they come across 1 or 2 crypto TikToks that told them to buy Dogecoin, and that's it. Or maybe like these, now with the institutional money coming in, I highly doubt that Sharpling Gaming or BlackRock is scouring through crypto Twitter to find that that's a big thing. But then again, it's like some narratives are formed on X. Sometimes that's where you just kind of throw shit at the wall to see what sticks. And like, okay, all these ideas are dumb, but maybe we can settle on a narrative. Maybe the narratives kind of start from crypto Twitter. I keep thinking to myself that there's so many more eyeballs, so much more attention and money to go get outside of the platform. It just so happens that the platform is so addicting that once you get on it, it feels like your whole life, feels like your whole world. But no, there's other people out there. So
100%. I saw a meme and it was like, the bell curve meme. So it was like the bell curve meme.
Oh, the bell curve, yeah.
yeah. And it had like the bell curve meme of crypto Twitter, and it was like a tiny percentage. It was like 1% of the population. And then there was the actual bell curve of like the actual population. And it's like, yeah, we do get stuck in bubbles, and I've heard community members say a lot of stuff like, "Oh, you got to get out of those bubbles," and we do hear the same messages, and we do have the back and forths and the tirades, and we do talk to the same people quite a bit.
It's not to say that Twitter doesn't matter at all either.
No.
Like shout out to the guys like KR and Panos and those people that run the spaces. That's interactive, and I think the interactive stuff is really good community building, just like live streams. People get to be a part of it, but there are alternative routes, which I'm working on one. I've been thinking about, what about LinkedIn? What about an email newsletter? What about all these places that I kind of hate, but there's people there with money.
Are you ready to suit up and write down, this is my journey?
I dedicated my entire life to leaving the LinkedIn profile behind, but maybe I need to go back through the gates of Mordor to get more people on.
Wait, CEO of Hex.
Yeah. I love that. There's some guy, like I think it's Storyteller. He calls himself the CFO of Hex. Like,
dude, this guy blocked me, by the way. I just want to say this. Martin, what the heck? Why did you block me? I want a DM. I was explaining why you blocked me. Anyway, sorry, carry on. I rudely interrupted.
Oh, no, it's fine. You're probably talking about Fartcoin too much.
Yeah, probably Solana degens. But yeah, you were saying, sorry.
Oh, I'm just reading the chat now. I've actually got to get going, but thank you to 2,400 people watching. Shout out to Turk Montana. He says we're going to get so effing rich. Suffered for 3 years. We deserve it. Yes, we do. Everyone deserves it for putting up with the pain. And if you've been able to hold and keep your composure and not lose your mind or your money, yeah, good things are going to come. Yeah. Reddit, Paul Jiu-Jitsu says, yeah, Reddit's another cesspool that I really hate. But hey, if somebody wants to take the reins and go start a Reddit, PulseChain channel, I think there already is one. It doesn't get much love. But also Reddit just seems to be kind of a hateful place, right? Like you never read anything positive.
No, but like my boy KR said that he he got into crypto through Reddit.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and then he got into Richard Hart because he was flexing his watches.
See?
Which there's somehow Richard Hart, and I was like, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I would have gotten in because of the watches. I got in because of the old stuff, the old like self-help stuff. But different strokes for different folks. It does work. The guy doubled his follower count by flexing Rolexes and Lamborghinis. I'm talking about Richard Hart, of course. Yeah. Turk Montana says, I lost 80%, but never gave up or sold once. Congratulations, man. Nice. Congratulations. All right, still has his watches. That's a good question. We don't know if the Finnish authorities got him.
I think he's got the nice one, like the really, really nice ones, man.
Oh,
He might have the Rainbow Daytona still.
Yeah, that one's insane, right? There's like not many of them that exist.
Yeah, he's got an amazing watch collection.
He died in Zimbabwe. Indeed. Well, look, guys, everybody like and subscribe. Go follow Money Gang Crypto on Twitter, on YouTube, all of his channels. Are you recasting this to your channel?
I probably will, yeah. Yeah, if you're okay with me,
of course.
I'll do that. And appreciate we've been saying about doing a stream for a while and just not had the time really, and time zones and all that.
Always good to check in, and the circumstances are a lot better than they were last time we talked.
Yeah, and I think it'll be better in 3 months' time, 6 months' time. It's
it'd be better on Monday.
Yeah. I mean, by the time I wake up, I'm hoping the Ethereum's at like 4. But there's a bunch of liquidations. I mean, I'll tell you right now, there's about 350 million or 320 million, something like that, of liquidations of shorts at 4K. So that's a price hunting point. Yep.
It's a good point. A lot of leverage, and not only shorts. There's almost an equal shorts and longs ratio. Mm-hmm. It's just the amount, the dollar number is so much bigger than it used to be, just because crypto is a bigger asset class. So exciting times we're living in.
Shout out to James Wynn.
James Wynn lost. James Wynn lost it all so that we could finally have all season.
That's right.
You died for your sins.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Like, subscribe, leave comments, share the video.
That's
Stay in the game. It's gonna get better.
Appreciate it, man.
See you
Thanks
guys.
for having me on. Take care.
Pleasure.